She was born just like everyone else. She wasn't born in the wild and raised by lions, as the stories you may have heard. She was born in a hospital in California, raised in Washington State, and it was, as it always has been, the toxic waste dump of America. And she was a good girl, better than most. You would have never known that this girl would one day take over the world.
Nicole Stevens, a smart and respectful young woman, had a dream. She was chased by dogs. She ran and ran but could not escape. As the dogs gained on her, she fled into an alley where she hit a brick wall. There was no escape.
Oh no!
Then, beside her, a group of cats emerged from some trash cans and scared the dogs off. An alliance had been formed. I loved kitties from that moment, Nichole said. They're super cute. Later, Nichole claimed a cat of her own. The cat would become her closest companion. This cat would curl up next to her during times good and bad. This cat was Smokey, a dilute calico possessed with a spirited demeanor and spurts of terrorism. Smokey served as Nichole's number 2 during her rise to power. With regard to Nichole, Smokey only says one thing. Early in the 21st century, the planet's economy collapsed. To make matters worse, rabid zombie dogs took over the streets. People of the world gave up, that is, until a hero took action. Nicole Stevens, with the vision of her youth still in her head, marched across continents recruiting cats in her wake. The cats rid the world of zombie dogs. Citizens everywhere embraced Nicole's protection.
It happened right here. I was walking home, and then I saw a rabid zombie dog down the street. It started to chase me. I ran, but there was no escape. So I just gave up. And right as I was prepared to die, I looked up, and then they were. It was Nichole with a ton of cats. Nichole didn't say anything, but the cats looked right at me, and they went, meow. And I knew I was saved.
In gratitude, the world declared Nichole supreme leader of the earth. She commissioned a palace to be built in Washington State, and she filled it with cats. Washington became her official capital, and she even had a new national anthem written. The economy rose, people's confidence hit record levels. All were thankful Nicole Stevens was in charge.
It's not easy having your life saved, because now I have to make my life count. So I decided to give back to the community by opening my own chain of restaurants, where owners can bring their cats for their birthdays, much like the cats that saved my life, to have a good time. And have a catnip pizza, or just play in the ball pit. I call it Kitty Nipsies.
Nichole, however, had other plans for the world's citizens. Nichole declared the commencement of a new era, one she called Kitty Time. Every family had to own a cat and treat it good, or they'd be killed. Smokey, Nichole's second in command, was to be worshipped for her cuteness. All other religions were outlawed. There were other stipulations than cats, however. For good nutrition, every citizen was to ingest rice and onions daily. Mayonnaise was forbidden. The USA was renamed the WSA, which stood for Washington State is Awesome. The Seattle Seahawks were to win the Super Bowl every year. Nichole even tried to make the Mariners win the World Series, but as powerful as she was, she could not force the impossible. Most importantly, she declared that all citizens too stupid to live would be killed immediately.
No one knew what to expect when she took over. I mean, they were hopeful, but what they couldn't know, and what they didn't know, is she had a single fundamental belief. She thought they were all stupid.
Those suspected of stupidity were taken to a public square, ridiculed by the masses, and then faced by Nichole, who stared them in the eyes and said to them, "You're stupid." They were then hauled off to an open field where they were made to listen to Jeff talk about history until they died of boredom. Millions were killed listening to him talk about the Civil War. By then it was clear that she was the Nictator, and she ruled with an iron fist. Nichole had risen from a smart, respectful girl to ruler of the world. The earth was covered in cats, stupid people were non-existent, and Washington State, dreadful as it is, was the planet's capital. Her influence proved ubiquitous, but how long could it last? How long could Nichole stay on top? As it turned out, not long indeed. Nichole's reign was doomed to end. No one, however, rose up and forced her from her dictatorship. No outside power broke her rigid grip. She was, in fact, brought down by her own doing. During her rule, she realized complete governing was not only difficult, but time-consuming as well. And with each day of her life burdened by authoritative duty, she had less time to do the things that really mattered, such as watching The Walking Dead. When she missed an entire season of her sacred show, she decided it was time to step down. The world was free to be ruled again by people who would most certainly screw it all up, which they did. But Nichole did not mind. She was distracted by her kitty and her show.
I believe her significance lies in the fact that, at a time when the world needed her most, she was there.
Nichole Stevens had transformed civilization. She took full control over billions of people, then gave it all back. In the meantime, she rid the streets of zombie dogs and touched lives everywhere. Many of those she inspired went on to become legends themselves. Nichole, however, is still out there.
I like to think that she's lurking in the shadows, holding Smokey, being awesome.
All I ever wanted, she said, was Smokey. And Smokey, likewise, said all I ever wanted was salmon. So the two lived as they still live today, Nichole petting Smokey, and Smokey gorging herself on fish. Every year on her birthday, nations honor her. We all honor her, not only for her part in saving the world, but for being the funny, intelligent girl we all know.
We honor her every year on her birthday. In fact, that's why we're all here today, to honor her and wish her a happy birthday.
Nichole's ultimate legacy will be that we all love her, whether she's Nichole C.K. Stevens or, when needed, the Nictator.